Okay, we're going to start by first selecting an image we're going to tell our story about. And a great place to find these images is Astropix. And you can do a web search or a Google search on Astropix astronomy, or it's at Caltech, or Astropix, pix.ipac.caltech.edu. And when you go to that web page, which I'm showing here, you'll see a bunch of images. I'm just going to choose one. This is a fairly recent image of a galactic interaction of two galaxies. So I'm going to click on this to take me to the web page. And then in the web page, it has information about the caption, what's new about it, as well as links to various sizes of images. So I'm going to choose the largest size image. I click on that. It takes me to the image. I right-click on this and say Save Image As. And then I'll save it to my desktop. And then I'm also going to go back so that I can come back to this to put in it, to find the caption. So I have Worldwide Telescope started up. I'm going to first open the template, the tour template that has been provided. It's a 4-slide template. And this will simply load in the basics that tell me where to put different images, different slides. So now when I go to, the first thing to do is load in that image that I saved from Astropix. So I say open astronomical image. I navigate with my desktop, open that image. That will load this image into Worldwide Telescope. Because it has this astrophysical visual metadata tags in the header of the JPEG, it actually knows where to put it in the sky, which is very helpful. And so now this overlay image is overlaid on top of the digital sky survey image that's behind it. So I can zoom in. I can use this on-screen controls to zoom in and out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom completely out to the. I'm just moving that little ball to the minus sign. And now I'm at the constellation view. I'm going to at the kind of the largest scale view. So I'm going to right-click on this slide and say Set Camera, Start Camera Position. This is going to start the tour at this distant position, or not distant, but zoomed out position. Now I'm going to move the ball over here to zoom in to the object until it fills the kind of field of view. I'm even going to put a little. I'm going to get this situated a little bit better. I'm going to rotate so I'm going to press Control and then move my mouse to rotate this into a square and zoom in a little bit. Okay. Now before I do the crossfade, I'm going to, or before I set this in camera position, I'm going to change the image crossfade to have it fade out, so it won't be shown there when I first zoom into the object. So I'll right-click on here and say Set in Camera Position. Then in this image, I'll right-click on slide 1. Slide numbering starts at 0, by the way. So the second slide, or slide number 1, I'll right-click and say Set Start Camera Position. Now I want to move the crossfader to actually expose the new high-resolution image. This is a Hubble image, and so I'm now crossfading that up. So now I'm visible. I say Set in Camera Position, and now I'm going to go to the next slide, slide number 2, again the third slide. Right-click and say Set Start Camera Position, and then I'm also going to right-click and say Set in Camera Position. Now, let's say I want to put a caption on it, or this might be red. I think it's probably better to read, but I'll just kind of show you how you do it if you want to put a caption. So, if I wanted to just cut and paste the caption out of the Astropix website, I highlight the text. I Control C. I go back to the Worldwide Telescope. I say Insert Text. And now I paste that into it. I think when I do it, yeah, it's going to come up as one long line. Unfortunately, it doesn't do line wrapping. So one trick that I have is to make the kind of window the right size here, and then basically go and put line feeds at the end of every line. It's a little tedious, so I'm just kind of putting. I guess this. Oh yeah, that's and so I'm just putting line feeds at the end of every line so that it's formatted properly for worldwide telescope. Okay, so now when I say save, now it should show up as one. Now I'm not saying this is probably a little bit too much text for this sort of thing, but at least kind of gives you an idea of what this is. And then if I wanted to have a credit slide, I could put a credit slide here. I could say, you know, text credit, and I can actually, the caption had credits at the very beginning, so I'll just cut away everything but the caption, so that credit is the credit for the same thing where I'm putting the line feeds. Okay, so now I have a credit. So now if I want to play the tour, I basically have a, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because of the sake of time, but it'll zoom in for the first 10 seconds. And this is the DSS image. Then once it gets the DSS image, it will crossfade onto the high resolution Hubble image. Now that image is fully here. And then the caption comes on. And again, this could be read by a presenter probably, or burned into a narration. That's another, there's some instructions at the end of this to talk about that. Oh, and since I didn't put in a in-camera position in the credit slide, it actually kept that from the template, so that I'll pause that to correct that. So basically the problem is at the end of slide 2, if I say show in-camera position, I didn't set slide 3 to have that beginning camera position, so if I right click and say set start camera position and set in camera position, now that's all the same. That'll all just sit on the slide while the credits roll. So I can save this tour, and that's how you make it. And then if you do want to render it out to video, this is some other instructions. You go to guided tours, render to video. You can give it a file name here, say test. I can make dome masters at various resolutions, 1K, 2K, 3K, 4K, or 8K, or I can do high definition. You want to click this wait for downloads if you are pulling in data from outside. That way it will wait to have all the data before it renders a frame. And then if you're doing dome master, you click on this. So that's how we do it to render to video. So you can either run this directly from Worldwide Telescope or render to video and play it back through your video playback system. And you can render it out into flat or full dome if you want to make a YouTube video that's a complement to the full dome video. Anyway, that's basically how things work, and hope you don't have any problems with this and enjoy the tutorial.